Vitality is our ability to have spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical bliss. Some call it paradise. We call it a game.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure. And today I've got something a little bit different for you guys. Today I have a book review that I wanted to do. Now, I have not been asked to do this, and I've not been paid to do this. So I just want to say that up front, that I am doing this because I feel as though this is a very important thing in light of the fact that I have a book coming out. I do get requests about other books as well from ladies, books about, how they can be helped and in which way they can be helped. So today's review, I'm going to review the book Submission is Not the Enemy, a Key Factor to a Healthy Relationship by our very own Miss Danica Marie Dope Discussions. Of course, I've been on her platform. I've been there to support her. She's been there to support me as well. And most of my audience is very familiar with her content. And if you aren't, you really are missing out. You need to go ahead and subscribe to her channel and really check out her awesome content. So today I want to introduce the book. This is the book that we have. This is our book. I've read it a couple of times. This is a really easy read. And the reason that I wanted to review this book today is because I feel like it's very important steps on the road to exploring our femininity, right? And getting back to the things that we need to get back to. So first, let's go into the meat of the book. She's talking about, obviously, submission, right? And really, she's talking about what women can do to contribute to having a healthy romantic relationship. And I feel like it's super important because in the book, she managed to put submission in its proper context. Because a lot of the time, most of the time, Black women have this real backwards concept of what submission is supposed to be, which is why I named today's show the way that I did it, how Black women can become a proud pick me, because that terminology and submission among most Black women is a truly negative thing. It's not a positive thing. If a Black woman calls another Black woman a pick me, trust and believe she's not complimenting her. She is basically telling her that, she's an idiot, she's stupid, or she's not got a backbone. She doesn't have, any constitution to herself. She's just got nothing going on. She's just waiting around for some man to pick her, and she's doing whatever she's got to do, including degrading herself with submission to be chosen as some man's girlfriend, wife, or what have you. And so I think it's important because Danica actually puts the concept in the proper context. And from what I understand about it when I read it, was she wanted to reintroduce the concept of submission to Black women in a positive light rather than in a negative light, because we have such a negative connotation for that word. Many of us have not seen submission be done in a healthy context, in a healthy setting of a relationship. Many of us have not seen healthy relationships period at all. So we don't really know how to conduct them. We don't really know how to participate in them. Many of us are accustomed to dysfunction and chaos within our relationship, or we're accustomed to being in the dominant role in our relationships and not feeling as though the relationship is going to be good unless we can control it. Because I think, and this is just my sidebar, I think that we get into that mindset as Black women because we have a lot of trust issues. There's no trust. So we feel like, well, I can't trust this man to make the relationship good. I can't trust this man to, allow me to be happy in the relationship or set the stage where I can be happy in this relationship. So the only way that I can protect myself from maybe heartache, or I can make sure that I'm content, make sure that I'm satisfied in this relationship, is to control it. I need to control all the dynamics of it. I need to control all the angles of it. I need to control, how we're interacting, what he's doing, who he's talking to, and all of these other sorts of things. And what happens is we get bogged down so far into control issues that we forget to actually have the relationship in the first place. And it becomes this tug of war and a stressful thing that we're involved in, rather than being able to get into a relationship and being able to support your man and accept his support of you in a healthy way, so that the both of you can actually have a good relationship and get what you need from each other out of the relationship. So she definitely mentions those things in the book, where she's talking about Black women's, sort of, we want to be dominant in the relationship. Also talks about not choosing the wrong men, because that's another issue that we have as Black women. We will choose a F-19 and then get mad at the outcome of that choice. And here's what I mean. And here's also something that she was talking about as well in the book. You can't just not vet a man properly. You have to be able to vet a man properly. If you don't do that process well, or you don't do that process in the proper fashion, and then you get into a relationship and you call yourself trying to submit, this man isn't going to give you the proper masculine response to that. And that can end up a very toxic and eventually a failed relationship. And a lot of times, if we do that, or when we do that, we'll go out, we won't vet a guy, we'll get with a guy for all these different reasons that aren't good reasons to get with him. And then we'll call ourselves being down for him, or submitting to him, or doing what we think women are supposed to do in relationships. And when that relationship falls flat on its face, what we'll do is we won't identify the real issue. What a lot of women will do is say, well, I won't do that again because he didn't respond the way that I thought he should, or the way that I've seen maybe other men respond to a woman in submission. He didn't do that. So therefore, I'm not going to submit again. Right? Which is actually a bad way to look at it. It's a bad perspective. It's actually wrong, because if you get with a guy that doesn't give you proper masculine responses to your femininity, then that's actually the wrong guy to be with. And a lioness actually knows that. We're able to discern properly the men that we're dealing with. And even if the relationship doesn't work for whatever reason, it didn't fail because I submitted. It didn't fail because I was doing what I was supposed to do as a woman. And a lot of times Black women get caught up with that and saying, well, I'm not going to do that again because I feel, quote unquote, taken advantage of, that I went into this relationship doing all of this stuff that I heard you were supposed to do traditionally as a woman, and it didn't work. So therefore, being a traditional woman doesn't work. Instead of saying he wasn't the right guy and that's why it didn't work, and I need to reevaluate and have a better discernment to go and get the correct guy, so that when I do this again, I'll actually get the proper masculine response. I'll get his 4 Ps that I'm supposed to get when I give him the submission and the femininity that I'm supposed to give him. So I think that was a super important. Another super important point that she talked about in the book was the fact that submission is not to be equated with blindness or stupidity or weakness. And that's another hang up that Black women actually have, that we equate those things. We truly do equate submission with slavery and weakness and blindness and all of these other, traits that nobody wants to be associated with. You don't ever want to be associated with being stupid or just doing whatever because you don't have a brain in your head. And so somebody else can just sort of dictate everything that you do, and you just stupidly go ahead and do it because you can't think for yourself. And she does a really good job in this book of making sure to address that point and making sure that the ladies who read this book understand it and are able to sort of, look at it from a different perspective, look at submission in general from a different way, instead of this real super negative way that we have been taught basically culturally as Black women to look at this word. The other thing that she does is she does address the men also, right? She addresses the men also in this book. Certain expectations, when they can't really expect to receive the full feminine response if they aren't giving the masculine response properly, or setting the stage with what we over here at the Crimson Cure channel call system, order, and structure. So if he's not bringing system, order, and structure, or he's not bringing the 4 Ps, then the expectation of submission is misguided. So all in all, to sort of bring some of this stuff home and really give you a good sense of this book, I personally like the book. Now, because Danika's my girl and my sis, I give this book a 7.5 out of 10. And so I'm going to go over some of the pros and then some of the cons that made me not give it a 10 out of 10. So the pros with this book is, first of all, just writing the book, because I'm writing a book. So I understand exactly just how tough it is to write a book that is an easy read, easy to understand, and just to put it out there to begin with. So many people begin projects, writing projects, and they never come to fruition. They never finish it. And it never gets out to the public. It never is there to really assist anybody or help anybody or whatever the intent for the book was in the first place. So that's number one. Number two, this is a really, really good introductory book for any Black woman that's looking to explore her femininity more, and maybe just starting that journey and just actually realizing that she should start this journey. This is a great beginning place. This book is a great place to start. Okay. This is where you kind of get the milk. Like, you know what I mean? You drink the milk before you eat the solid food. This is what this is. And I think that that's actually a good thing, because a lot of women have to start somewhere, and starting with the concept of submission as a key factor in having a healthy relationship is something that Black women desperately need to do. We desperately need to understand this concept, because we avoid this concept so much. Okay. I like it again because this is an easy read. If you have a commute to work, on the train, on the bus, whatever, you have some leisure time, this isn't going to take you months to plow through and be exhausted to plow through. It actually has just a few less than 100 pages, about 77 pages in this book. So this is an easy read. You're on your commute, you're on your way to work, or what have you, you're on your lunch break, you have some downtime, or what have you. This is a great way to pass that downtime, and it's not going to take you forever to read this book where you're just getting sick of it and all of that sort of thing, right? And again, the other thing that I liked about it was that balance that she approaches it with, because while this book is talking mostly to women, it does address the expectation of some types of men about the submission portion. And it really helps to bring home, how we don't vet very well sometimes. The other thing, when we talk about sort of the cons, a couple of cons here, I do think that she could have gone a little bit more in depth on some concepts, particularly about some of the underlying reasons why we have a problem with the concept of submission as Black women. I think it could have been a little bit more in depth, could have been a little bit longer. Then that's about it. This book you can find on Amazon for $14.99. I feel like this is a great price for this book. Very, very much worth it. I would recommend all of my ladies that are Crimsonites to pick up this book and read it, especially if you know that you have an issue with the concept of submission. But aside from the price, the value of the book is much more exceeds the $14.99 that you're going to spend on it. She definitely goes into this concept to truly introduce it in a positive light more than in the negative light that we've had. And I think that that's extremely important for all of the ladies to do and to understand when they pick this book up. So if you're looking for this long, drawn out academic study with a bunch of, data and analysis, this isn't the book that you start with. This is the easy read. This is the introduction to the concept itself, right? So I'm hoping that everyone found this review to be helpful. Once again, the name of the book is Submission is Not the Enemy by Danica. Okay, so definitely go ahead and pick this book up. Run and go get this book. Like I said, an easy read, can't go wrong. And it gives you a different perspective of the concept of submission. So I am going to go ahead. I want you guys to sound off in the comment section, please, for me. Sound off in the comment section for me. Let me know if you already have it, what you thought about it. Let me know that you're going to go and pick this book up and support our sister. Okay. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I am your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.